Merry Christmas, everyone. This is basically the beginning part of Friendship is Empathy by Trinar. I don't think I pronounced his name correctly. It's a Trianry. It is a flimflick, uh, a flimfiction.net story. I'll post a link in the description list below. This is going to be the first story that I do. That I made it, but I want to read it out. Um, Please keep in mind I am terrible with words on a fly, so to say. I can read a book to myself and instantly get it, but if I start reading things out loud, I will sometimes skip words, accidentally mispronounce the wrong words. Um, Sometimes just completely go, oh, I don't know how to say that, and just continue on. If that happens, I'm very sorry, but if you want to, you can always read it for yourself. Again, the link will be in the description. I'm going to be posting different snippets of audio clippings. I want to try to get my voice skills higher, so I feel a lot more comfortable talking in front of an audience. Since honestly, in my personal life, I am utter crap at that. I find it much easier talking through a computer, texting, all that stuff, but talking in front of them personally, I'm just crap at. This is a way of me trying to get better at that. So from there, I'm gonna go ahead and start it up. So the story is gonna be Friendship is Empathy. And the basis of it, if you're used to filmfiction.net, this is going to be a slice of life. Basically, I'm going to read out the prequel, so to say. Twilight Sparkle okay. Twilight Sparkle realizes that Rainbow Dash has been keeping a secret from her ever since the Mare-do-Well incident. When she goes to confront her about it, she finds out more than she bargained for. And then Twilight reveals that she's been keeping something from her friends ever since the royal wedding. Now everything's out there, harsh words have been spoken, and a once strong relationship hangs in the balance. Yeah, okay. There's only one chapter. It's 12,000 words, so it's going to be quite long. I apologize. It's not going to fit all in one video, unless I can get under an hour. I highly doubt I'm able to, though. Apparently the cast, the whole cast plus Mare-do-Well minus Spike. No, Spike's still in there. Yeah, I'm seeing the whole cast. So Twilight, Rainbow Dash, Mare-do-Well, and then the whole cast in that leading order, aka Twilight leading, Rainbow Dash co-leader, yada yada yada. You basically get the gist. It's going to be more of a fight between those two. Okay, this was uploaded the 3rd of December. I'm guessing last year. Okay, could be wrong. Okay, I'm just going to start it up. It was early afternoon in Ponyville. A newcomer from the large or more bustling locals of Manhattan or Canterlot would have remarked on Ponyville's laid-back charm and its quaintness, at least until they came to the Golden Oaks Library, where the quiet charm of Ponyville was scattered by the series of non-stop gasmeric explosions. Brrrr! Spike belched up another scroll, and he leaned back on Twilight's bed. He groaned, clutching his stomach. Twilight, how many more? He whined. Brrrr! I can't stand it. I'm actually pronouncing brrrr, so don't yell at me from fake burps. Brrrr. Twilight Sparkle was busy levitating each burped up scroll over her desk and establishing a neat little pyramid of them. I'm sorry, Spike. I think that's all of them, she finished weakly. Spike looked at her as he held up the last scroll. I'm really sorry, Spike. I promise I'll make it up to you. The last scroll floated over to join the others. But Princess Celestia thought it'd be a good idea if we put all our friendship reports together in a book. Remember how useful it was to have my friendship reports when Discard escaped? Vividly, Spike groaned, still clutching his stomach. Twilight gave a small chuckle. Well, once I put them all together, we'll never have to do that again. Isn't that great? The only answer was Spike's gentle snoring. She decided to let the poor guy get some rest while she worked. Just to be safe, she reread the Princess Celestia's letter that accompanied the multitude of scrolls. My faithful Twilight Sparkle. Accompanying this letter are all the wonderful friendship reports that you and your friends have sent to me. Knowing that receiving them is often the highlight of my day, they have all been carefully cataloged and preserved in my study. Enclosed are the instructions for a spell that should make your task easier. The first part is a duplication spell, so you can preserve the original letters while using duplicates for your book. The second part allows you to transfer the written words on the scrolls into pages of the book itself. Should you run out of pages, there's also a spell that will add pages to the book. This is a wonderful project that you are embarking on, and it is my hope in rereading the scrolls written by you and your friends that you'll be able to relive those wonderful moments and think about the moments you yet to come. Friendship is an older, deeper magic than any taught in the classrooms of the school for gifted unicorns. It pleases me to see the progress that the six of you, as well as Spike and those three delightful fillies, have made in the field and look forward to your future discoveries. Sincerely yours, Princess Celestia of Equestria. Twilight smiled and set it aside. Perhaps she included as the part. Perhaps she would include that as a part of the introduction. After scanning the spells Princess Celestia has sent, Twilight started her own work. While she was normally not the one for dawdling, Twilight couldn't help but read each letter as she placed them in order before using the princess's spell to shift the letters from the scrolls to the pages. The first were letters written by Twilight herself to the princess. Then came the ones her friends started to write after the wanted needed incident. Even alone, Twilight's cheeks flushed when she thought it was the whole fracas she caused. If it weren't for her friends sticking up for her, she didn't know what Princess Celestia would have done. She started reading and arranging her friends' letter. Apparently might have been cataloged back in Celestia's study, but they weren't necessarily mailed in the correct order. Oh well, that just gave Twilight the chance to properly organize them herself. She clapped her hopes together gleefully as she started putting her friends' letters in order. She briefly debated whether she would put them in chronological order or by section based on who authored them. All the dilemmas of being an editor. Best assignment ever. Twilight grinned puckishly as she ultimately decided to put them in proper order by date. Then she mentally corrected herself. No, her best assignment was being ordered to study the magic of friendship here in Ponyville. She had made a mental note to ask for the copy of that degree. That definitely belonged in the introduction to this volume. Twilight chuckled as she found Applejack's cheeky letter to the princess following the beginning of the most recent cider season. Dear Princess Celestia, I didn't learn anything. Twilight would have been mortified when Applejack sent that letter. Truth be told, it was probably the best that she didn't read her friend's letter before Spike sent them. She probably would have tossed that one out, with the benefit of hindsight, though. It was pretty funny. Oh, and the time Twilight had a panic attack, and started frantically writing an apology note to the Princess, pleading for mercy on Applejack's behalf before she went badgering the farm pony to write an apology of her own. It had taken her friends the better part of the day to convince her that Princess Celestia won't mind Applejack's tone or less than proper grammar. Eventually, Twilight accepted that and dropped the issue. Moving on, she found that one the Rarity had initially relayed to Princess Celestia aloud following Twilight's birthday. She was glad that Rarity had ended up writing it down. She would have hated for any of it to be missing. She smiled as she came across Fluttershy's letter from right after Tomato Day. It was wonderful that it was a way to read. It was as wonderful as it was to read their friends' lessons, remember the challenges they faced and their growth along the way, as was even better. Fluttershy realizing that even the smallest of contribute stations can count. Rarity realized that she should never be ashamed of where she came from, and Pinkie Pie realized that friendship can take many forms. The Cutie Mark Crusaders' open letter to Ponyville in the Fall Free Press was there too. As unpleasant as the whole situation has been, she did think it was a good sign that even Apple Bloom, Sweetie Belle, and Scootaloo had started writing to the princess. At this rate, all of Ponyville will be sending the princess letters on friendship. Twilight smiled as she thought Twilight smiled at the thought that she idly got the rest of her friends' letters together and got them in order. Being the normal perfectionist self, she counted them to make sure they were all there. Rarity and Sweetie Belle's letter on being sisters, Apple Bloom's letter on patience, Rainbow Dash's letter from where she got Tank, Rarity's letter about being proud of where she... Wait, Twilight frowned. Where's Rainbow Dash's letter on humility after the whole business of Mare-do-Well? That happened before Rarity's trip to Canterlot, right? She was sure of it. Thinking back, she realized she actually hadn't seen it anywhere else in the pile of scrolls. Twilight gasped. Beginning the panic, feeling the panic beginning to rise as she hastily flopped through the scrolls after hastily flipped through scroll after scroll. How could this be? Princess Celestia said she made her to send them all. She couldn't have made a mistake. She bit her lip. Horrified at the thought that she would have to send the princess letter suggesting that she had. What if the princess was upset that Twilight accused her of making a mistake? She was a princess after all. Or what if she felt that Twilight was being selfish for asking her to take time out of her experience? Or what if she felt that Twilight was being selfish for asking her to take out time out of her exceedingly busy day to find one stray letter? What if she thought that Twilight had lost it and took back all her letters before she could even finish her book? And Twilight's head shook. Calm down, Twilight. You know Princess won't be upset. She hoped. Still, it's weird that the princess or her secretary will lose one scroll. They're so careful with their mail at the palace. She knew from the history books and her own talks with the princess that half the bureaucracy in Canterlot had been deployed to ensure exactly this sort of thing wouldn't happen in the aftermath of the now infamous incident where the princess's mail to the Tsar of Ponygran, advising him to grant his subjects more loyalty, had not been sent. One revolution year later, and nowadays the city was called Stalingrad, and there was not a Tsar anymore. Lesson learned. In fact, Princess Celestia had learned her spelling from sending letters via magic some time afterwards. Princess Celestia even said in the letter to Twilight she cataloged everything. Surely she wouldn't have noticed if one friendship report went missing. The lavender unicorn amused about. I mean, only the reason if her eyes opened, or her eyes widened. Spike was suddenly and rudely woken from his much disturbed nap by the sound of whistling kettle, which was odd considering he hadn't put anything up this morning. Blaringly, he rubbed his eyes and sat up, stretching as he looked for the source of the noise. His eyes snapped wide open when he saw the sound was coming from the steam escaping from Twilight's ears as her whole face turned red. Her face twisted with anger. Sensing what's coming, he drove back under the sheets and hid beneath Twilight's pillow. Outside, any pony walking by the library would have been suddenly deafened by a loud yell that frightened every bird between Ponyville and the Everfree Forest out of their nest. I am not going to yell this, but she basically yells Rainbow Dash with 3 A's. Not yelling because it's 2:20 a.m. where I am sitting right now. I am reading books at 2:20 a.m. I am really lonely. Anywho, I'm going to take a small break, get a drink of water, and be right back with the rest of it.